Good afternoon, everybody. It's actually a bit of a strange one today. I'm going to do a video to follow up on one I done quite a few months ago, cold water fish. And it's bloody sticky and humid here today, if you can believe it. I'm a little bit warm, and I'm doing a video on cold water fish. The only reason I wanted to do it is because I had been getting into cold water fish in the last 12 months, 18 months, a lot more, so I understand a lot more and know a lot more. And one of them is a lot of misconception out there. I get confused with, what do you class as a cold water fish? People do their top 10s, their top 20s. I've got about 18 roughly, I think, mapped out to talk about today. And a lot of people talk about, cold water fish, here's my top 30, and they start rattling them out, and they'll say such and such a fish, or guppies down to 18 degrees or 20 degrees where I live, and I think to myself, oh, and you don't need a heater, you can, just your room temperature at home. But then I think to myself, well, what is your room temperature? Where do you live? What are the temperatures of your outside area? What are the temperatures of your shed, which I keep in? What are the temperatures of your outside ponds? And they all vary. So to say to a person, a fish is a cold water fish, it'll happily live in your house that is climate controlled without a heater, of course it would. Of course it would, because half the time you're heating your house. I mean, a lot of houses that are climate controlled because of, you get a lot of snow outside, they try to keep their houses around that 22, 23. Of course they can go without a heater. But I'm talking about fish that can go without a heater, but then there's also fish that can actually go under ice. Two great ones, koi, goldfish, Madaka ricefish. They've been known to live under ice. And how people can come out and say, a goldfish, 18 to 25 degrees. They'd laugh at that, a goldfish. Now, I'm going to talk about the experiences that I know with the fish that I have, that I know can do certain temperatures. So, if you have a different result, that is great for you, but I'm only telling you the results that I've come up with in the last 18 months. And sometimes it's not necessarily the fish that you buy, it's their babies, the F1s, the F2s, are the ones that acclimate and get used to your conditions. I mean, I'm going to pick the barbs. I'll pick the barbs to start with. I can guarantee that my rosy barbs that you have seen on my videos and my golden barbs do 10 degrees to 11 degrees, no problem. Now, they are not stressed at all. They happily breed away. We're in warmer temperatures now. They're breeding berserk. They do the cold water thing through the winter here, and my shed gets down to around 12 degrees, say. In here, roughly 12 degrees. Outside ponds, anywhere between 9 and 11. Alright, so I'll get that out of the way. I do believe the Odessa barb can handle the same. Not proven by my experiences, because I don't have the Odessa barb. I want to get the Odessa barb, but I haven't. So rose barb, golden barb, 100% can go down to 10 to 12 degrees and be happy. What else have I got written down there? The next ones. Now, normally the common plecos don't mind getting down cold. That's as in common bristlenose. I normally find even the albinos and the marbles and all that, they don't like it so much, they still like the heaters. But the common pleco, I've had it live right through 12, 13 degrees, and they kind of go a little bit dormant through the winter, and then they're up by spring, they're up breeding again, and no worries whatsoever. So swordtails, and I'll actually put platies and swordtails in this. The platies, we've got an outside lot of platies in tubs that'll do winter, not a problem. My ones in here, my huge big ones that you'll see on my videos if you want to go back over it, they do cold water, not a problem. Platies, I've got an outside platies. I must admit, I've got this from a friend of mine that actually has bred them outside, and when I got them it was still cold weather, and they're out in tubs outside and they are absolutely fine in the cold weather. They're probably an F1 or F2, that's the reason why, but you've got to get the variatus types, like your sunset variatus, the Mickey Mouse variatus, and that. I think the other ones are southern platy, don't hold me to that. They don't like it, they want heaters, but the variatus, they do not need heaters at all. But once again, I'm saying do not need heaters because that's how cold my temperature gets to here. If you're somewhere where, it's bloody bit warm in here today, I'm starting to sweat, but if you're somewhere where, say your temperatures are 4 or 5 degrees, more than likely they will not survive. And that is the difference. It's so hard to talk about when people put up videos about cold water fish. You can only talk about where you live. It's so hard to tell people, because if you live in the top part of South Australia, Queensland, and you might get humid weather like this all the time, and your water's 24, 25 degrees all the time. If I bring those fish down to South Australia and they do a winter, they'll die. Nothing short of they'll die. So the next one on the list is Madaka rice fish. I just talked about those. What a great little fish they are. They will happily do cold water, absolutely happily do cold water, and they've been known to live under ice. Nothing more to be said about them, fantastic fish. The next one is the paradise fish. We all know that's, I think, the first ever aquarium fish that was kept in captivity in an aquarium. Slight little disclaimer on this one, goes against what I've said before. I actually do not own the paradise fish. I read up on them and they will do 10 degrees, no worries. I'm going to prove that hopefully by next year, because where I live, they only want to sell males. I cannot find females anywhere. So anybody in South Australia or Australia know where I can find female paradise fish, hit me up in the comments. Please let me know, because I'm desperate to get some females, and then I can get males, no worries, source them, and I'm going to give that a go. But they 100%, they'll be able to do cold water, no worries. Once again, when I'm talking cold water, people, I'm talking about 12 degrees to 10 degrees, around that for my area. The next fish is the koi. We're not allowed to have them in South Australia, but they're widely known around the world. They live under ice, no worries. Now, people get confused. So you've got the goldfish, and you've got the fancy goldfish. So the goldfish are single tail, the fancy goldfish have your twin tails and your stubbier body and that, but they'll do the same temperature, alright? They'll both live under ice, not a problem. Peppercorys. I have peppercorys in there, and I had babies galore from them, and they're in a cold water tank. No worries. Bronze, albino, no worries for cold water tanks here. Next thing, shrimp. Now you can use heaters for your shrimp if you want. I don't. The point of it is trying to cut costs as well. So shrimp will go a little bit dormant through the winter, but they're coming back strong now. It's nice and warm and humid. They're bashing out the babies. So that's no worries. Don't be too concerned. Keep an eye on whether it's your shrimp or your fish or whatever. If you try fish out to see if they can do colder weather, just keep an eye on them. If they're starting to struggle, put a heater in with them then. But if they're not, try it out. Especially if, as I said, you can do your F1s, F2s, F3 babies of your own. They normally can handle a lot more than the ones you bring in from elsewhere. What else have we got on the list? We have Danios. I get gold danios in there by the dozens that I've bred. No worries. Not much more to say there. Giant danios, I've got giant danios in with the fancy goldfish. No worries at all. Crimson rainbow fish. The Murray Darling rainbow fish, or the Murray rainbow fish, and Empire gudgeons. Right, they will all do cold water. Once again, I keep stressing, to my temperature here, I'm calling cold water. At least around 12, maybe 10, 11, around that 13 degrees. You can see they slow right down, but they're absolutely fine. But if you think in nature that they don't get cold water every now and then, you're probably kidding yourself. So that's what I just wanted to talk about, the difference in what people talk about when they talk about cold water fish. And we just get confused. I think it'd be great if YouTubers or bloggers or people that write docos and all that realise that not everybody lives where you live. And the fish that were in the wild years and years ago that have been bred into aquariums, they have been 10 times bred over or 100 times bred over, that their ancestry is gone now. So yes, there is certain fish that 100%, you know, like guppies, if they get under 16 degrees they will die. And certain other fish, they get under, I always find those tropical ones, anything under 18, 16 is like danger point for them, 18, but they want to be 20 odd plus. So that's mainly what I want to talk about today. I hope I made a bit of sense, but it just all kind of boils down to where you live. You've just got to nut it out yourself and try certain fish. Don't put them under too much stress. Watch them, keep an eye on them. If they look like they're struggling, put a heater in with them. And then just mark it down as, okay, those fish can't handle it. I mean, there's a couple of other fish. I have got rummy nose here. I've bred loads and loads of babies. So I'm going to take out a few of those babies and see how some of them go in the winter. Don't hit me up and say it's cruel, because I keep an eye on them and I'll put them back with the heaters if it happens. There's another one I want to try too. It escapes me now. But there's a few I want to try, because I love the fact of, obviously no heaters where I live is great because it's cheaper. Alright, it's nice to talk to you all, and remember to stay safe. And if you're in Queensland, we're all thinking about you with all the floods, Japan and all those places. I'll just grab this camera and I'll just give you a little overview of the plants. They're absolutely loving this warmer weather. Have a look at them shooting up in the air. Alright, so this is Jeff from Goldfish with Ghost Aquariums saying goodbye for this week. Hope you enjoy this content. If you do, please let me know. Hit me up in the comments, like, subscribe, share, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one.